Hello, everyone, and welcome to my final project presentation. My first thoughts on this project was the medium and the story behind what I was trying to represent in said medium. And I was thinking between either drawing or composing. And I chose the latter because it's near and dear to my heart, music in general, and I felt as though I could express myself more thoroughly if I chose the composition aspect of it. And I chose music again because I have a greater background in music because I was in both drawing and music in secondary school, but my main passion, as I said before, was music, as though as shown in my time in band, marching band, jazz band. So it just made sense for me to go for the music portion of the art form. My inspiration historically, it doesn't really stem from anywhere in my process of composing. Um, it would probably be from horror films. I don't watch them in particular because I get frightened very easily. But I do listen to a lot of soundtracks, and that gave me inspiration from it. And also, Gustav Holst makes a little appearance towards the end because that is by far my favorite composer. And the subject matter is, of course, coronavirus, COVID 19, because I believe that it has greatly affected us all, especially as Americans. And it it's just near and dear to my heart, as well as everyone watching. I believe so also. So I just thought that this could be a little taste of what we went through this year. The beginning starts off with January, probably later January, when we sadly lost Kobe and his daughter. And that was just the downfall of our year because everyone was thinking 2020 vision. So everyone was happy and hopeful, but there's just some things in the news and the social media that just made us question, maybe this year isn't going to be so great, but let's see. And my music goes with that, and having an uneasy, almost dissonant sounding uh, entry. And towards the end of the first movement, it goes off on a odd note just to put a sense of in the listeners' hearts. And then we have just the back to back punches in the face. We don't know what happened. No one knows what happened. Everyone's questioning everything. Everyone's afraid because of coronavirus, Black Lives Matter, police brutality, just all these questions, and no one knows the answers to them. And everyone's fighting for the right to health and equality. And it's just a scary time. And this is where I use the horror movie aspect of it with a lot of staccatos, a lot of sharp high notes, and just to give a sense of how everyone must be feeling, especially not knowing if our loved ones or even ourselves are going to make it through all of this. But I wanted to end it on a high note with a message of hope and just just a nice feeling. And this is where I use the Gustav Holst inspiration from with my favorite composition of the planets, the Jupiter, and I just put a little inkling of it with hope for the future, especially with this upcoming election. I just would like to have a hope that, especially this generation, can just make this world, and especially America, a better place than it is currently. The elements of music that I used was five instruments. I use the flute because that's my instrument of choice. I played that instrument for many years. I'm a bit rusty now, but it's still one of my favorite instruments to play. I chose the piano because it has a lot of depth within it, a lot of chord usage that I used, a lot of harmonies. And then finally, I used the cello, violin, and the double bass because I also love listening to stringed instruments. And then I also use a tempo of 80 beats per minute. I use that throughout the song because I believe it represents the steadiness of life throughout anything that's happening, whether it be some questionable times, some horrible times, and some good times, or hopefully good times. Life still goes on. So, whatever we make of it is what we get out of it. To express more thoroughly, I decided to put a little poem in the beginning of each piece, of each movement, I mean, just to explain more thoroughly what exactly is happening within the piece, just to aid the listener. And finally, my final project is within this link to my YouTube channel, as well as just this, the music is on the subject slide. I forgot to mention, but I hope you listen to it, and I'm open to any feedback. You can just put it in the comments, and I'll be happy to respond. I hope everyone has a good day, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.